Welcome again, and let's continue with the evaluation and selection process. You find all details in the call text itself, and this is just a short overview. So this call follows a two-stage process with a pre-proposal stage and a full proposal stage, giving you much more room in the full proposal stage to actually present your proposal. Your proposals will be evaluated by an international independent expert panel at both stages, and this evaluation will result in ranking lists corresponding each to a specific transition pathway and a research or innovation-oriented approach. So the call itself will have 6 ranking lists. Following those 6 ranking lists, there will be a selection by the call steering committee based on the ranking list, and of course also on the availability on national and regional budgets committed to the call. It is crucial for your proposal to choose the most relevant transition pathway and topic, because this also determines that all your partners in your consortium are eligible, because the funding agency needs to support this main topic. And of course, choose the research approach that best fits your project. So either research-oriented approach or innovation-oriented approach. Well, the evaluation criteria follow the Horizon Europe criteria. So there's excellence and intellectual merit, impact and user engagement, and quality and efficiency of project implementation. For each of these criteria, the maximum score is 5. Each of these criteria is also decomposed into sub-criteria. Some of those sub-criteria will not be assessed in the first stage and only in the second stage, simply because in the first stage there is not enough room to actually answer those sub-criteria. In the following slides, those sub-criteria that are not assessed in stage 1 are shown in italic and are marked with a small asterisk. And to divide between those two approaches, there are some criteria that are specific to the research-oriented approach, and some are specific to the innovation-oriented approach. So for the first main criteria, we have 5 sub-criteria: the clarity and pertinence of the objectives, the credibility of the proposed approach and soundness of the concept, the added value of transnational cooperation, and 2 of them will only be assessed in the second stage. This is clarity and feasibility of the project design and of the proposed methodology, and the identification of risks and the mitigation plan for those risks. For the research-oriented approach, there's an additional sub-criteria: the originality, contribution to new strategic knowledge, and the progress beyond the state of the art. While for the innovation-oriented approach, this is replaced by innovativeness of the approach compared to existing solutions. Coming to the second main criterion, there are 4 criteria, of which 3 will be evaluated in the first stage and 4 in the second stage. So this is the relevance to the call topics, the integration of diversity and gender perspectives in the project plan and also the goals, the engagement of stakeholders, and in the second stage only, the effectiveness of the proposed measures for dissemination and or exploitation of the project results will be assessed. Also, for the second stage only, we have the research-oriented sub-criteria of potential of the project to provide insights to an important social issue and produce useful knowledge for stakeholders. While for the innovation-oriented approach, this will be replaced by market potential of the project and or the capacity to respond to a demand or a need. Well, this brings us to the last main criterion, which has quite a few sub-criteria. The first one is composition, quality, and sustainability of experience and expertise of the consortium. The complementary and balance of substantial contribution of partners of the consortium. The feasibility and appropriateness of the timescale. The global value for money. So the question if the costs are realistic and reasonable and if they meet the expected results and impact. In the second stage only, the appropriateness of costs allocated will be assessed, as well as the appropriateness of the allocation of tasks and workloads, ensuring that all partners have a valid role and adequate resources in projects to actually fulfill that role. And of course, also the management structure and procedures will be assessed in the second stage. And the last point that will be assessed in the second stage only is how your project considers regulations and ethics issues when applicable or necessary. Well, thank you for your attention and your interest in the call, and we hope that you will also watch the next video, which is on the submission system. And I'd like to hand over to my colleague Elna, who will guide you through the process of applying for a project.